Hi everyone, hopefully you can hear me. It's 7 o'clock on the dot. Say hello if you can. I've got a whole load of questions already, so thanks everyone for being prompt. Now while I'm waiting for people to join me, Suzanne and her daughter Francesca downstairs have been basically making cocktails all day, so I'll just quickly show you what I'm drinking tonight. I have got my trusty beer, okay, which is a Budweiser but in a copper glass, which I nicked from the curry house the other week. No, actually, I bought it off them. But I have a porn star martini with the shot. I have a sex on the beach in a Bally's glass. And I also have a strawberry daiquiri in a Rainforest Cafe glass. So, I mean, I'll probably be rolling on the floor after this, to be honest, but it's all good anyway. So Suzanne and Francesca will be having fun downstairs, so it's all good. So hello to Stuart, Johnny. How you doing, Johnny? Whole Caliph, how you doing? Keno's, Zaddy Vegas, which I know now is Ryan after Danny's live stream last night. Gaz, how you doing, Gaz? Hogan 2 Cent, how you doing? But I have a special guest tonight. It's not just me rabbiting on. One of my favourite vlog series this year in March was by this couple. I absolutely adored it. I think they're a great channel. They're from the north of England. They support Sunderland, but I won't hold that against them. I'm a Wednesday fan, some of you may know. But they're a lovely, lovely couple. They're back just after me in September. So please welcome, put your hands together, big cheer for Vegas Baby. Hello!
Hello.
What an introduction.
How are you doing?
I feel like there's total disappointment now after that big build-up. I think that people are going to be like, oh, who is it? Who is it? Oh, it's just them two.
Yeah.
No. I, honestly, your series, I have to say, I think that the mix of the two of you, the gameplay with the parrots and everything else, and the wild buffaloes and everything, and the places you stayed, obviously with Plaza that we sorted out and everything. I just thought the series was an absolute delight to watch, to be honest. And so, what are you doing for the next one in September? Tell the people that are watching.
Well, for a start, we are desperate to get back. And I know everybody says that, but it has been, since March since we've been there. So I think we're on like day 60 or 61 or something that we're counting down to get back again. This time, for the first time, we're actually staying downtown first off. We've never arrived and gone straight downtown. It's always been in the middle or near the end, really. So we're excited. So we're only there a week this time, because we've got a big trip to Florida coming in October as well. So that's been booked for a while. So we just basically try to squeeze a Vegas in before then. And it was all dependent on my holidays because I'm quite restricted. But yeah, we're going to Plaza for the first 3 nights.
Yeah.
And then we are staying at Park MGM for the rest. We've never stayed there before, so we thought we'd give it a go.
Because we're seeing Aerosmith there, so we thought.
Great, yeah. I stayed in the Nighthawk suite last time, and I really enjoyed it actually. And it's made a big difference now. It's non-smoking. I'm quite impressed with it in there. So I think you'll enjoy it in there. It's decent. But just a quick shout out to Shane Brown for the super chat. Thank you, Shane. And I have one more, Sharpie999. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. So what we're going to do is go down the questions. I'll start from the top. I'll probably get lost, but as usual. But we've got 295 people watching, which is amazing. And so we start from the top. Any questions that I might miss out, if you want to hit them on again, if I do, but hopefully we can keep going. And Michael and Lindsay will have their own say on all the questions as well. If you've got any specific questions for Vegas Baby, please type them in. So the first one is Peter, who I know is in Saudi at the moment, albeit without alcoholic beverage. I don't know how you stand it, Peter. Speaking of which, my question is, did you find the drink service offered by casinos has declined over the last few trips? Well, I'll be honest, it's always the same. The strip is hit or miss, I find. I thought Caesars was sort of okay last time. But as soon as you hit downtown, and you could see it with the casino crawl that I did, I had to knock them back with the amount of free drinks I got. Now I was on 4 or 5 after 2 properties, and that's always the same for me. It never really changes. How about you guys?
Yeah, I would say that the kind of same way. The strip seems to depend what time of day, where you're sitting in relation to the entrance of where the kind of waitresses use and all of that. There seems to be a lot of variation, like downstream, and it's difficult to predict what that's going to be. Downtown, actually, the only place that we had any trouble downtown was a plaza one night where we just couldn't get a drink anyway, and that was like every other night we were there, they were superb, but that's just this one night. I don't know if they just had no staff on or, whatever it was. It just wasn't good for that one night.
I was fine with Plaza that they only tend to really have one waitress on to cover that. It's a fairly small casino, isn't it? So if she's busy or doing the tables rather than the slots, it can be a bit hit or miss. But normally it's okay, and sometimes you have to search her out. But yeah, I think it's. I found your trip last time obviously was the first time you stayed downtown. But then what I liked is you really embraced it. And also, I think if I remember rightly, when I messaged you, your first night you didn't do so well on the gambling, but after that it totally turned around. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, I mean, usually we can't hit a thing downtown because we're always a bit like, how does Matt win so much downtown? Like, we don't hit a thing. But when we kind of thought about it, we said, you know what? We only ever really go downtown for one night or, maybe 2 nights, but at 2 separate nights over the trip. And so we said, actually, we can't really compare it when you're doing maybe 11 nights on the strip and 1 night downtown and you don't hit lucky that one night. It's not really fair. We did have one bad night where we went back to the safe. We did the whole safe. We didn't do safe cam like you do, but we did kind of sneak up, sheepishly and take them out of the try not to touchies file, which is what we call it.
I love that. I really love that. That's brilliant.
We did go back and kind of overspend, I think, that first night, but after that, the next night it was the day really. We went to Downtown Grand for the first time. We'd never been in there, and we just started hitting, and once we'd started, we kind of couldn't stop. We were just winning everywhere, and we were going to the next place, and we couldn't believe it, could we? And it was amazing. So
the Downtown Grand, it's amazing. It is really like that. It's something else really. It's amazing how many times I've had good nights in there. So I'd always say to someone, if you go downtown, start the Grand, see how you go. The least you can do is have a bit of a gamble and a few free drinks because you're guaranteed that much, and then see how you go from there. So it's, but it's good, and hopefully now with your trips, obviously you'll build downtown into it a little bit, right?
Definitely, like I say, we're going for the first 3 nights this time. We're really looking forward to it, and we think we're going to explore it more because I still don't think we did it properly last time. Yeah. So, and I think that's one thing that we've really got out of going more often. Is just how much actually we didn't get from downtown before that we get now. We do really love it.
I can't imagine a Vegas trip now without a downtown stay.
Yeah,
it kind of hit us that kind of hard how much we were missing out by staying mainly on a kind of strip. So I think it's going to be kind of a big part of every kind of trip now.
No, that's brilliant. That's music to my ears, really, because I've been banging on about it for years, as you know. But I know it's not for everyone, but I think it makes your trip very much like a 2-center holiday, and that to me is a win. Quick shout out to John Roger. Hi, John. Talking to channels I really like, John Roger is one for sure. Great vlogs this last series, John. I'm midway through them. I've still got to finish. He says, great series as always, Matt. Now that you've seen Morrissey in Vegas twice, is there any acts that you still really want to see while out there or events, shows? Yeah, well, we're going to see the Killers in August with Ben and Jess, and I think Richard Chu's there as well. There's a few people that are out there for that, and the Killers are a band that I've not seen live at all. And of course, if you're going to see the Killers, you may as well see them in Vegas, right? Bear in mind they're from Vegas, so that would probably be it. In terms of shows, I don't know. I've seen most of the shows that are around. Am I right in thinking there's a new Spiegelworld one opening at the Link at some point? I mean, I love the Spiegelworld shows, so any new one of those I will always go to. But yeah, we'll see. There's nothing that stands out currently. I'm not sure if we're going to see anything else other than the Killers this time, but we'll see. But thanks for the super chat anyway, John. Okay.
Well done on finding the light switch, John, eventually. Yeah. Well done.
Bravo on that one, yeah.
And a question from Craig Jennings. How you doing, Craig? Did I have to do anything differently this trip due to the crappy exchange rates? Well, this is an interesting thing. I think you can go on about exchange rates, flight prices, everything. It's not good for Brits at the moment. The flight prices are horrific. I mean, I think we're I mean, we booked the last this August trip actually quite a while back. So we're going premium economy, and I think it was about 1,300, which actually isn't that bad, is it? I mean, some economy flights now are about 1,200, aren't they? Depending on when it is. I didn't really have to do a great deal differently because I did bring back a reasonable amount from the April trip. So, but I'm just about to order some more because Suzanne's going to take some. And we just got to, I don't know, just got to take it on the chin, really. We've been here before, haven't we? When it's been 1.2. What about you guys? Because obviously you had a really good last day or two, didn't you? So I'm guessing you're just going to taking that back for your next one, right?
Yeah, literally, we never really come back from Vegas with much money, and we always think we're doing this wrong. But especially when other people come back and they're upset that they haven't had like a winning trip, and we're just happy if we come back with anything in our pocket. But we were so excited last time because we thought we were going to come back with about $2,000, and we were like so happy. And then that last morning hit, and we ended up, getting another $2,000 on the last morning. It was ridiculous. So it's stashed away them dollars, and we're literally just taking them straight back again. So we're not even bothering getting currency this time.
Guys, that last vlog on that trip was those. It's a bit like a couple of the sessions I had this time. They are the sort of half an hour, 45 minutes gambling that you live for, isn't it? It's like where you literally you can't do anything wrong, and you go into squeaky bum gambling, and and it works, and it's like. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
We'd only gone because we were staying in Mirage, and we'd only nipped to Bellagio because I wanted to play Little Shop of Horrors one last time before we left, and they didn't have it in Mirage. So we only went into Bellagio for that, and then literally, if people have seen the vlog or not, but we put $20 in or something, or we put $100 in, and it just broke. The machine just literally broke, took our money, and it went black, and then we had to call someone over, and we were like, oh, we've got to go for the flight soon. We just want our money back. So we kind of fought with that, and then while we were waiting for them to fix it, we stuck some money in Ultimate Filing, and you were so annoyed, because it was just taking the mick, it was giving us nothing, and he was getting really he was like, it's not even giving us anything. He was getting so mad. So we thought that was it. And then just on the way out, we said, come on, let's play Dragon Link one more time, bit of Khan. And that was it. It just started hitting, and then we got the major. We've never had a Dragon Link major before, and then we got the 1,000 ball, and then it was just like when the adrenaline just hits, and you just like, oh my word, this has never happened to us.
You were like 20 minutes from the airport. It's like you needed to get to the airport, so you haven't even got time to lose it. I mean, it doesn't get.
We were praying it wasn't a hand pay because we've never had we've had big wins, but they're always accumulative. We've never had one hand pay, and we were like, if this is a hand pay, we are screwed. We're gonna miss the flight. We wanted it to add up, but we were also a bit just keep below. And then it was like 1,170 or something that it came. So it was just written. It was perfect.
Yeah, wonderful. Question from Matty Holloway. Is the amount of people around the Strip or downtown the same post-pandemic as pre-pandemic now? I would say absolutely. Certainly downtown now. You might almost forget what it was like pre-pandemic until this most recent trip. And to be honest, I escaped down to Main Street, and I have done the last two trips a couple of times just to get out of the chaos because it is so busy there. And the Strip, again, very busy. A lot of dogs, I think, as a few people have said on various message boards and live streams and what have you. Did you find that in March busy?
Yeah, we thought everywhere was busy. So many dogs, many dogs.
And a lot more kids than normal too. I don't know if that's to do with the kind of US people kind of taking their kids on holiday in the like Vegas, because if they can't come to kind of Europe or what have you, but there was a lot of kids, a lot of dogs, and it was really busy, and there wasn't any difference between pre-COVID and kind of now. It was nice. Yeah. The masks make I know masks is a thing that everybody has a kind of opinion on, but I think that getting rid of the masks made such a massive difference to the whole Vegas experience. Yes.
I think when you've experienced both, because obviously we were all there together. We were having a drink in the Mirage when that was the first case of COVID was in Vegas, and it had been at the Mirage, and we were all sat right at the bar.
I need to watch that conversation or that little clip in your videos from when I just landed and you were just going, weren't you? And that's the first time that I met these guys. Amazing.
It was so weird though, because we were just leaving as everything was closed. All the buffets had already closed, and you just arrived, and then obviously it kind of went, and then we both went back very well. You went just before, you cheated and went just before the borders had opened, didn't you? By doing your little route around. And then we were, like, the first week after the borders opened, so we kind of got as it was shutting, and then we got like when it had first reopened, and then to go back again and have it completely back to normal again. It's quite weird in them 3 stages, but it's just without the masks and everything, and it's just back to normal as far as we're concerned.
Yeah, it's great. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people coming back with COVID, but hey, it's the world we've got to live in these days. But okay, next question. Risk it for the chocolate biscuit, which is, I love this name of this channel. And actually, this channel is got a YouTube channel that's coming up, who's interviewing famous people. I think Alan Sugar might even be one, and talking to them about risk and their life and whether it's had positive or negative outcomes. So this is quite an interesting question. I'm going to let you guys go first on this. What is the biggest risk you have ever taken in life that has either had a positive or negative outcome? One or the other. Go on.
In life.
So what you're doing, I'm going to drink this one sec.
Well, yeah.
And I'm now on the porn star bit. Go for it.
I'm going to say ladies first, I think.
Well, I thought we might both say the same thing here, but you obviously weren't thinking it. I'm going to say each other.
Yeah, so I think so.
Yeah.
I'm going to say each other, because we when we met, we weren't with other people. We were just we were kind of weren't together, but both had different families, and it was quite it
was a very difficult transition, I would say.
It was a big
for other people more than us.
Yeah,
to be fair.
it was just a big decision to kind of leave our current situations and kind of come together, and it was a bit of a leap of faith, because we knew each other very well for a long time, but we didn't know whether we could live together, and that type of thing, completely different. So I think that's probably the biggest risk. And just to confirm, I'm meaning that in a positive way and not a negative one.
Okay, good.
Fantastic. Yeah, mine would certainly be my big change of career, without a doubt. I remember when I left there. I mean, I've talked about this, so I don't want to go on and on about it. But to make that leap of faith and come out, in effect, it was like coming out of the army and going into normal life and having all those comfort blankets ripped from you, and not really sure at the time how you were going to sort of deal with it all. That was, but it's been nothing but positive. So as I said, I spoke about this on vlogs, so there's no point repeating myself. But that for sure for me. Having been married twice and everything that's gone on with that still was the biggest thing. I was so comfortable, and financially it's quite a risk, but it's all worked out in the end. So thanks for the question. That's a great question.
Cheers, everybody. By the way, if you haven't noticed, we are drinking Angry Orchard, so just cheers, everyone. Yeah,
we've got quite an array of drinks around here. Okay, Steve Turton, how you doing, Steve? Before I read that one out, Paul Black, thank you for the super chat. Really love your vlogs. I appreciate that, Paul. Thank you very much. Do I feel that some casinos give you a higher chance of winning? If so, which ones would you recommend? Well, they always say North Las Vegas has the best return to player. When I went to Henderson, I think that's supposed to be pretty good. Those 3 little casinos there. Downtown and the Strip actually has got, I think they've tightened that up quite a bit, actually. But I certainly, there is a difference, but you only see it over the long term for sure. You're not going to see it over the course of an evening, But having been, someone who's stayed downtown versus the Strip consistently since 2007, so 15 years now, 100%, it gives you a higher chance of winning, in my opinion. What do you think, guys?
I haven't won as much as you have, Matt. So I don't feel in a position to kind of comment on that. What I will say is, for me anyway, it seems to go by. There are some places for me which seem completely cursed. I'm convinced that I could put my entire year's income into Circa and come back with nothing but a free drink if I'm lucky. That's how I feel about Circa.
We also feel that about MGM, Grand, and Paris. We never win in them 3 places ever.
I'm with you with Circa so far, but I'm determined to beat that, and I'm certainly with you with Paris. I've never won a dime in Paris. MGM again, a bit hit and miss. Never won anything big in there. But yeah, I certainly agree with you the first 2 so far. Yeah.
I think everybody has their own places where they win and their own places where they lose, and it varies for us all. We all have lucky places. I think
it's the same with machines as well, though, because we have never won on Walking Dead,
No.
and Michael is absolutely adamant that we are going to break this hoodoo and we are going to play Walking Dead until we win, like no matter how much it costs us.
I want to win Walking Dead in Circa. That's my big dream. It's just not going to happen.
But I'm probably at Circa for a couple of nights this trip. Richard's on holiday until I think next week, but I'm going to do 2 nights now, and I'm going to exclusively gamble there with to try and break my hoodoo. And I do think, and this is one thing I do think, and people, it's obviously rubbish, but it's just the way I feel. If you feel comfortable in a place and you feel confident in a place in general, not about the gambling necessarily, but just in general, for me, you have a better chance of winning. Like, I think it was April, I went down to Resorts World. Just wasn't, I like Resorts World, but I just wasn't feeling it. Went back to Plaza, and I sort of stomped in there like I was owning the place. Back home, stuck my money in, won $650 and 700 bonuses in 20 minutes. And I know it's not always going to be like that, but I do think sometimes, if they say scared money never wins, right? And I think there's an element of that. You have to be comfortable in your surroundings, and sometimes it works out. I don't know. I'm a bit superstitious.
We always seem to have luck in Mandalay.
Yes, Mandalay is a good one.
Yeah, and we always seem to hit something in Mandalay. I don't know why, but we do. But like you say, we do feel comfortable in there.
I don't know if we feel that way because we win there, or if we win there because we feel comfortable there. So,
yeah, what comes first, right? Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I guess you can only feel comfortable with someone once you've won. So I guess winning has to come at some point. But anyway, moving on to the next question. Lewis Winsper-Hayden. Lewis, if you're put in charge of building a strip theme hotel, what would you build and why? That's an interesting one. Well, there's always been talk of a London one. There was going to be one down towards Mandalay at one point, and then they were speaking about that plot of land that's opposite Sahara as well for a London one, with beefeaters stood outside and all of that stuff. That would have been quite cool. Then there was a Titanic one, I think, that was mentioned. I think a Titanic one would be cool. I'd go for that. I mean, more themes is what I would say. What about you guys?
I like the themes. I really, really love. I mean, I don't think every hotel should have one, but at the same time, I don't agree that every hotel shouldn't have one. Which Vegas seems to have thought for some time. I didn't think much of that moon one that they were talking about. But, something science fiction-y horror type thing would be good. A little bit different. I mean, Circus is kind of that anyway, but in terms of horror,
yeah, it really is.
Okay, so just a quick shout out to a few people. Holding Tuesday, how you doing? Cinnamon, good to see you. Gaz, Wall Street to Vegas, how you doing, mate? Blair, Roger. Yeah, there's a whole load of people here. Thank you so much. 352 people we've got watching now, which is crazy, really. Soulful Music says, I believe Morrissey out of the Smiths will be joining the chat. I did try, but I like it. Okay, next question. 1 second. This chat always does the same to me. Every so often it flicks. Okay, here we go. Next question. Thomas Fogwell. How you doing, Thomas? I booked for next year. I stayed at the Venetian for a week. Have you ever stayed there before, as you don't see it in your vlogs? There's a number of places that I've not stayed. That is one. That and Palazzo is one. Win and Encore is the other. I'd love to stay at all 4 of those at some point, but I always say it, and it's true, you can only spread your money so far, which gets you comps. I refuse out of principle, on the basis of how much I gamble, to pay for a hotel room. So it's difficult to stay somewhere if you're going to have to pay for it. Have you guys ever stayed there?
Yeah, I was just about to say our first few trips in Vegas, we didn't gamble really. We kind of went more we wanted the touristy, so we did all the kind of Grand Canyon and all the rides and all of that type of stuff. So we stayed at the Venetian and we had an amazing week, didn't we? It was before we were bothered about, gaining any points or reward play or, joining anything like that. We were just kind of throwing a few dollars in here and there and nothing much. But the actual room spec, the hotel itself, the restaurants, the food service, it was absolutely unreal. We would highly recommend it. You know, again, if you go and get your points on MGM or Caesars, it's not great, but for an actual venue, it's outstanding, isn't it?
I absolutely loved it there. Yeah.
I've just never been that keen on the casino at Venetian for some reason. And again, it's a bit like what you're saying about Paris. Yeah, I go in there and I just lose my money all the time. You know, I did actually prefer Palazzo a little bit more, but I'd love to stay there again. And I'm sure it's great, as these guys are saying, but I haven't as yet. Just a quick shout out to Sharpie999, who didn't actually realise at the time was Jeremy Sharples. I should have done really with Sharpie, shouldn't I, Jez? But anyway, he was part of my group call last time. If you haven't watched that video, well, the first few minutes are epic, to say the least. It was just crazy. Right, okay, next question. Quick hello to Andrea Osmond. How you doing, Andrea? I know Andrea is going back next year for her 50th, Andrea. I know you think it's a long way off, but it soon comes around, believe me. It really does. I must be finishing up my Marmite, says TG Lit 24. I do like Marmite. Las Vegas couple, how you doing? Down and Sally, your T-shirt is literally behind me in the bag to be sent out. I bought them a Morrissey T-shirt because he's a fellow fan, which is good.
Sorry, we're just catching up on some of the comments too. Thanks for all the nice comments, everyone. I've just read them now, so sorry about that. But thank you, that's really nice. So Gaz has put best hugger in Vegas is here. I don't know if anyone knows about this.
Right, no, I was going to say this on the introduction, and it slipped my mind, but Michael is officially a hot man of YouTube, Michael. It's been voted for and everything. I mean, it's just fact. How do you feel about that accolade?
Well, I don't know whether people have voted for it because I'm a good hugger or because they think that I need a hug because Lindsay abuses me. So it could be either or. I'm comfortable with either, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not what you kind of. It's not something that I sought, that I kind of seeked out, but I'm happy to accept.
Absolutely. No, you know, if there's a compliment coming around the corner, take it. Absolutely. Hogan 2 didn't say, I think for the science, all slot players should timestamp when they win. Let's see if there's a correlation. It's very true, actually. I mean, I think we are. I don't know. I will always find a reason why I've lost. It's either the wrong choice of machine or this or that. It's never just the variance. You know, there's always a reason why. Or I went to the wrong casino, and if only I'd gone where I originally planned. You know, it's you know, you find a million and one reasons, which is why we all love it, really. And then when you win, of course, you've got all the choices correct. I don't know. It's I analyse it way too much. Okay. John and Roger, love it as Matt gets more pissed, yes. But live as Matt gets more pissed, well, I probably will. Actually, these are strong, these things. Jesus Christ. I mean, see,
we've noticed about you that the drunker you get, the more you win. Now, I think that's because the drunker you get, the more brave you get.
Yes.
And so you kind of put more and more money into it, rather than kind of having that little piece in you kind of a conscious mind which says, I'd better leave now. You seem to lose that the more you kind of drink. I'm quite envious of it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I must admit, I think the only change to that was the last trip, the day after I'd won the Super Grand Chance and the 900 or whatever, 1,000 or whatever it was on the high stakes. I literally deliberately not gambled all day long because I thought it's just going to be I'm going to lose all this money. And I was sat in my room with all the money. I was like, I'm going to protect this money. You know? And then the minute I went out, it was 100, nothing, 100, nothing, 100, nothing. I barely had a drink because I was losing so quickly. There was no time for them to be served, you know, and I'd literally gone back to the safe a couple of times. And, you know, it wasn't the, like, try not to touch it. It was the, like, fuck, I've touched it all over again type thing, you know. And that was one occasion where I wasn't over betting, and I've never actually had a session quite as bad as that. I wasn't over betting, I wasn't pushing it, I wasn't even drunk. It was just like, you're smacking me around the face repeatedly because I won yesterday. And that was quite interesting for me, actually. I don't know. Have you ever had a session like that, like a real horror show where, I mean, I got, for those who haven't seen it, I got basically $1,000 in at, I think towards the end I did $5 a press, but certainly for 800 or 900 of that, I was doing 250 or 3 a press, and I got 3 bonuses: $17, $18, and 23, or something like that, for $1,000. It's like, well, I mean, I just couldn't believe it, really.
we have days like that, at least 2 every single trip, I think. Well, we have fewer than we did, and I think it's because I think the more that you actually gamble, the more. I'm not sure there's kind of skill involved, but there is experience involved in knowing when a machine's kind of not really playing with you, and just knowing when it isn't really feeling right, and knowing when to walk away from it when you didn't really know at the start. So I do think that we've gained more experience, and we're reducing the amount of those days.
Yeah,
but we'll certainly still have them. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what is your strategy when you sit down at a machine? If you put 100 in each time, right? Because it's difficult to tell from the vlog, because obviously you just see the bonus or whatever. But so you put 100 in. Will you play through that 100? Like that's what I tend to do. Or will you give it a certain number of spins, cash out, and then try it on something else? How do you tend to do it?
I think we trust our gut a lot more now than, like, I suppose that's what you're saying. We trust our instincts more. But generally, we would play through that 100. We wouldn't, if it got to maybe where we played through maybe 50 or 60, and it was literally giving us like nothing. If we weren't even getting line hits or anything even remotely to keep us entertained, I would probably say, or one of us would probably say, let's just take it out. Like, we were getting nothing from it. I will happily sit at a game and play at it if it entertains me, like if it gives us line hits and, it keeps me entertained. I'll quite happily sit there, and I won't really mind the money going down as long as I'm getting something. But when you get nothing, when you just get dead spin after dead spin, and you just get nothing back, I almost feel like, I mean, we sometimes do the naughty step, which again, the machine doesn't know it's on the naughty step, but I feel better knowing I've put it on the naughty step. So we'll kind of, especially if we're waiting for like a cocktail waitress to come by or something, we'll say, we'll just leave it for a minute, leave it to have a think, leave it, let that machine think about what it's doing, like give it a time out. And then we'll say, right, let's give it another go kind of thing. It's silly, I know, but it's just, if it's keeping me entertained with line hits, and we're getting, we feel like there's something brewing, or we're getting a good feeling about it, we'll stay. If we feel like it's just dead, we just kind of walk away.
There are only 2 exceptions to this, and that is parrots and the plant game, as you call it.
I knew you were going to mention the plant game. I love it.
Because at the amount of money that I've sat there and just watched Lindsay feed into these machines, those 2 are just getting nothing, because she takes it very personally when she isn't winning with them. For some reason, those 2 are living rent-free in her head constantly.
I thought you were going to say dancing drums, because that's the other one. I used to be obsessed with closing the pot, dancing drums. Like, I was obsessed with it. Like, I thought, like, if I closed the pot, we were going to win big. But I mean, the amount of times now that we've closed the pot and only won the mini, it just gets to the point where you go, actually, the pot doesn't really mean anything. And
I don't play it for the pots. I literally don't play it for the pots. So how often do you put 100 in and then put another 100 in? Because I don't do it regularly, but it tends to be coin combo or a bulging pot that can't be left. Are you the same?
I would say coin a combo. Last trip we put 100 through, and we couldn't win a thing on it, but we felt we'd invested at that point, and then we needed to get something back, so we put in another 100, and from that point on we couldn't stop.
But I must admit, I think we only put the second 100 in is because it was the day that we'd literally hit in Luxor, we'd gone to Mandalay, we'd hit on Miss Kitty, then we'd hit on Huff and Puff, and we were massively up. So I think that was what made us brave to go, you know what, although we've just lost that first 100, we've got a bit spare, and it's playing, it looks like it's playing, and the pots were kind of, and we thought, let's just do it. And I think from like the second spin on the second 100, that was it. It just started hitting and going all the time. And you just don't know though, Matt, do you? That's the thing.
Well, I get probably more comments about whether the full pots are more likely to close than not than any other comment when I play those games. And my opinion, and it may be crap, but my opinion is they might not close quicker because the pot's full, but what it does show, someone has played it for a period of time and not won.
Yeah.
Therefore, on that basis, surely you're closer to it closing than you were before. That's reasonable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely. It's like when the pigs are really fat.
For me, anyway.
Yeah, someone's fattened those pigs for you, haven't they? At the end of the day. So, I mean, whether it's you or the person behind you that gets them, that's the other thing I don't like, mind. I hate it. No, I think it's the worst thing you can do. You know, if you've been sat playing on a machine and you don't get anything from it, if you move to a machine very close to it, and then the next person comes along and hits immediately, and I don't like that because I feel like I've fattened big for that person. So I'm better off if we play on a slot and we don't. I'm better off like moving further away because otherwise I'm like, they've just hit. We put all that money in and they've just hit. That kind of bothers me a bit. But
well, if you take your money out, you just got to go the hell away and not look what happens next. I mean, that is just like mental torture.
It is.
You stand there watching what happens next. It's I've sort of gone away and I've gone sort of done a sort of semicircle and come back and someone's on a bonus and you just think, oh no, that would have been me. But it isn't necessarily. You just got to.
It feels like they're winning your money at that point.
Yeah,
that's what it feels.
If you just dropped a 100 or 2 in it, you know, it's.
I look as well, and I'm like, they're on the same denom as us. They're betting the same way, you know. Like if they're betting a different amount, if they've like started betting $5 or $10 or something, I'm like, oh well, fair enough. They deserve to win it. But if they're only betting $150, the same as I was, I'm like fuming.
Quick shout out to Jeremy again. He says, "Thank you for the super chat again, matey. If you could own and rebuild the Stardust, would you build it strip or downtown, and in what spot? Would you replace a hotel or add to a collection?" That's a really good question, actually, Jeremy. I know exactly my answer. I would knock down Binions and I would stick the Stardust right there opposite Golden Nugget. There you go. That's my answer. You guys, do you think that's not a bad choice?
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Binions, I just, it's so wasted. I'm sure it will eventually get done up properly. But
Liquor Up though is there, and that's outstanding.
Yeah, we love whiskey liquor up, to be honest.
So,
and I'm not bragging whiskey liquor up off, but just the whole tower that is only a couple of floors, and I don't know, it just needs jazzing up. Apart from whiskey liquor up, everything else needs jazzing a bit, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But whiskey liquor up is brilliant. Love it.
Yeah. I think this is why I need to improve my kind of downtown education, because for me, I kind of get confused with all the downtown casinos. They kind of merge into one with me, you know. And I'm like, when you kind of hit obviously El Cortez and downtown Grand and Main Street and everything, and obviously Circus stands out, but the rest of them, to me, once I'm kind of down that strip and there's all the neon and there's all the entertainers and there's everything going on, I can kind of go in and out of various casinos and not realize which one I'm in at any one time. I don't feel like they're specifically themed very well, or they just. And you walk in and the machines are immediate, so there's no kind of big entrances or anything that distinguish them from each other. So I kind of think that's where my downtown education's lacking a bit, because sometimes I can't tell the difference in which one I'm in at any one time.
Yeah, no, I do get that. And I'm being really bad with shouting everyone out that's here. I do apologise. But I will always replay this back one time afterwards, so I will see everyone that's here. So I do apologise that I haven't said hello to everybody. There's a lot of people. So anyway, next question. Okay.
Matt, I'll press on this
one.
one.
Yeah, if you can see one, go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's not working. I don't know. We've got a question from Steve Cavey, I think it is. Question for Vegas, maybe. Who do you hate more, the Parrots or the Pandas?
I hate all pandas. I cannot stress the burning hate that I feel in my heart for that stupid face little bear. I cannot stand the little thing. For some reason, it exists to torture me. It really does.
I'm sorry, which game is this?
This is it's the Panda, a Dragon Link.
Dragon Link, you know.
Okay, there's another one that's like a more straight screen. Not that one. It's the Dragon Link version.
It's the Dragon Link version. Yeah. Michael has a bit of a kind of what is just a battle with him, I think. And sometimes it'll go on for hours where he like win his money back, and then he's like, no, but he still won if I only win my money back. So now I've got to go. You think he's got this personal vendetta against the parrot, and it all stemmed from when Panda. Sorry, it all stemmed from when we went for his 40th birthday. And bearing in mind, up until that point, we hadn't gambled too much. So we used to just maybe stick a 20 in or a 40 in or a 50. And he'd been on the high roller and we'd been on the half-hour happy hour high roller.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we basically had like 5 or 6 drinks in that half an hour, all really strong, like, you know, barely any mixer, just pure alcohol, really. And Michael had got really drunk. It's all in the vlog. If anybody wants to go back and watch it, it is very funny. My drunk Michael is actually, he's very rarely comes out, but when he does, he's very funny. But basically, because same with what we were saying earlier, because he was drunk, he got really brave, and he said, you know, give me $100, like with full kind of focus, you know, like. So I gave him 100, and he was like, I'm going to just spend it. And I said, it's your birthday, like, no problem, just go, you know. And it was quite late at night. We've been drinking like all day at various different properties. And so he stormed over was it in the Link or was it in Cromwell? It was in the Link. Stormed over in the Link, found a Dragon Link, the Panda one, stuck his 100 in, and was like $5 bets, you know, like, which was at the time for us was like unheard of. And this $5 just went in like the blink of an eye. Like, he didn't get a line hit, he didn't get a bonus, he got nothing, and he was just furious. And
it took advantage of me while I was drunk. So, you know, I feel very personally about that. So eventually I'll win. Eventually I will slay that panda. I'm certain.
At least it wasn't your fault. He took advantage of you. It wasn't anything to do with your choices. That's you made the right choices all the way along.
So
okay.
Yeah, there's baggage there. That's just to explain that one. And then the parrots. Obviously, everyone knows about the parrots. They're soloists, or they come as a pair. They don't come as a trio. They don't do threesomes.
No, parrots.
That's all you need to know. They don't do threesomes.
Well, I mean, that game is, I think it's quite difficult to hit the bonus, but when you do, it's really good. I do like it very much, and I had a decent hit on it a couple of trips back, but I would always play that, and me and Jules played it, actually, and put, I think it was 100 each in, 200 at $5 press, got nothing. But, you know, it's one of those games where it's almost like you don't want to leave it, because it always leaves something there to have another couple of presses at. It's very clever like that, like a lot of them are. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, walk with Liam. Hi, Matt and Vegas Baby. Loved your last series. We're Vegas Virgins looking to go to Vegas for the first time next year. Where would you recommend to gamble and base ourselves? Go on, you guys answer that one. Where would you go if it was the first time?
Oh, well, it depends on budget, I would say initially, because I think that is crucial. It depends on your budget. If you're wanting to be right in the thick of the action, you've got to be centre strip, but that's only if you want to be right in the middle. Michael doesn't feel as strongly about this as I do. I love the Cosmo. More than anything, I love the balcony on it, just because it's so unique and you can't get it. And there's nothing I like better than sitting on the balcony and just watching Vegas go by and listen to sounds and all of that. So if you've got, it is high budget though. So if you've got the budget, I would always say Cosmo. But we stayed at the Mirage last time. I know obviously it's undergone loads of changes, but we actually really loved the Mirage as well. Really nice property, I think, to just get you grounded. Like the casino isn't too big. It's just the right size. There's loads of food options. You're just across the street from like the kind of Caesars properties, and there's a lot to do around there. So I think that's a good base as well.
No, I would agree. I would say Cosmo if you can afford it 100%. I would definitely say centre strip for your first time. So if you're looking at Cosmo being the top one, I would say next door Bellagio would be probably number 2. If you're budgeting, then Bally's or Flamingo probably. At the moment, I would say Flamingo, because Bally's is undergoing a hell of a lot of change to go to Horseshoe. Normally, I would say Bally's, but not right now. So yeah, but make sure you're in that sort of around fountains, in effect. I mean, that's where you want to be for your first trip, right?
I mean, what I would say too is, if it's your kind of first trip, go somewhere big. Go somewhere which does cost a bit more, because obviously then you can put that on your kind of new cards, your new, like M Life or whatever it is now, or Caesar's card, and then you'll start getting comps for your next trip a lot faster. So it's kind of a means to an end in that sense.
Absolutely, no, I agree with that, 100%. This is an interesting question, or an interesting comment from Las Vegas couple. We have no idea how Matt and Vegas Baby managed to upload out there. Will be uploaded very soon after they return. Now, this is an interesting thing. I always get asked about this, and I'm sure you have as well. To me, apart from January when I did it because I was with Suzanne, but the next one with Suzanne, I will be doing it from there. I have to do it while I'm there, while I'm excited, and I would have no. I don't get the same. I wouldn't have the same excitement uploading something that I know is 3 weeks old. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but I have to do it when I'm there, and I'll forego sort of flashy editing and everything else to get the experience up there the day after. You guys are one of the few, other than me, that does it while we're out there. I know Gaz and Ben and everyone, Steve do as well. But why did you decide to do it that way? And do you think it detracts at all, or would you ever go to, we're not doing it now, we're gonna just do it when we go back like everybody does?
Absolutely not. If I don't do it there, it won't get done. It's just the kind. It's very similar to you in that I like being there, I like experiencing it, and I like kind of sharing it as it's happened with it. We've got a little routine now where really similar. I mean, I suppose when other than Ben, you were kind of the first vlogger we ever watched, Matt. So we were just kind of used to that format. I suppose, you get up your day, you record everything that you do that day, and then you kind of upload the next day. This is what I did. And it just seemed really sensible to us to do that. I think I know a couple of times where we haven't uploaded the last day or the last 2 days if we've kind of just been too busy rushing. When I get home, the thought of starting to even organise that and to make some sense, or to remember what I was feeling at the time, or did we? And I know they're kind of in an order, but sometimes you can't capture what's happening there and then. And the thought of doing it when I come back, when I've got the kind of Vegas blues, when I'm knackered and I'm jet lagged, and I've got to go straight back into work, to even summon the energy to do it when I'm home, I just couldn't even attempt. And like you, I mean, we don't do any fancy editing or anything like that, but it has to be in the moment for me, and I have to. And it's almost kind of, and it's almost like there's so much happens sometimes in the day that actually when I'm compiling the vlog, it's like writing a diary, I suppose. Like you wouldn't go back and write a diary a month ahead and go, oh, this is what we did. Yes, this is what we did a month ago. It's kind of like I kind of want to sum up the day that we've just had, and while I'm feeling like that and whatever else. And we've got a little routine. I mean, the way we sleep at home anyway is like bizarre. And because Michael's kind of nocturnal and I'm not, so he generally tends to work through the night, and then he kind of sleeps when I get up in the morning. So that really follows when we're in Vegas. So what happens is I'll get up early in the morning because I very rarely sleep very much in Vegas anyway. And I've got like 3 hours before he'll even kind of wake up because he's been up later through the night. So in them kind of 2 to 3 hours, I have everything edited, ready, and I'm all kind of, it's like I kind of close off the day before almost, like this is what we've done. Right, let's start a fresh day. And that's how we do it.
How do you do it where Michael's recorded some stuff and you've recorded other stuff? He's asleep. You're then trying to amalgamate stuff from, I'm assuming, 2 different sources, right? How the fuck does that work?
No, we generally just use one phone.
Okay.
So we both got our own phones, and we vlog on a phone. We don't vlog on a special camera, or we don't do it separately. So we've got one kind of phone which is just for vlogging purposes and nothing else. And so if he goes out and records something, he'll just take that, and if I'm doing it, I'll just take that. So when I go to do it on the following morning, everything's in order on that one phone. So it's just a case of then just adding it all in and adding bits and bobs and whatever else. But
I mean, it sounds like I do absolutely nothing in terms of making the vlog, and I'd just like to confirm that is absolutely true. I do nothing. It's entirely Lindsay's work.
Is it really? I had no idea, actually, to be honest.
Yeah. Lindsay puts the vlogs in order, and she makes them, and then when it comes to upload them, she kind of tends to hoy it at me then and says, oh, upload that,
yeah.
do that, and that's when I kind of. That's the only contribution that I make, apart from the sort of like being the kind of handsome, charismatic, huggable,
hot man of YouTube, basically.
Yeah.
But okay. But sorry, just going back to what you said, Lindsay. The fact that you said that it was like a diary and you wouldn't update a diary a week and a half later, that is the best sum up of why I do it, not live, but as live as possible. I've heard. Perfect. Anyway, on to Martin and Holly. Hey there, Martin and Holly. Love these guys. I have a question. How much are the makers of Double Top Dollar paying you to play it so often? I really adore you, but never understand the pull of that machine. Well, do you guys play it? I can't recall you playing it.
I quite like it.
I feel exactly the same as them. I sit there watching the vlogs and I'm going, why is he playing this machine?
Yeah. but I think Lindsay's not a fan of the old mechanical reel machines anyway. I'm a little bit more kind of open to them. I think we played it once, maybe in the 2020 trip when we met you, Matt. I think I remember playing it then, but
we played it in Cosmo and we won $45. And Michael actually said at the time, it's the Matt Bridger rule. If you get $45, you take it. And we took it. And I said, well, that's it, done. I've done it for me. I've ticked it off my list, and I don't think I'll ever play it again.
Right. Okay. This is my take on it. Right. It's if you want to low roll. If you want to do $2 a bet, but it's dollars. It's dollar wins. That's the thing. So you're doing $2 a bet, dollar wins, and if you get the bonus, you can double up. I don't know. It just gives you that chance. I don't know. It's. I've won a lot on it over the years. I really have. I've had 600 wins, 300 wins. It almost steadies the ship a little bit. You know, I don't know. But you know what I mean?
Is it one of those games for you, Matt, where when you're having a bit of a losing streak?
Yes, go on.
Tried and kind of a trusted games. Is it kind of one of those, a proper streak breaker?
I would say quick hits at $1.50 a bet or Double Top Dollar at $2 a bet are those two games where just default back, you know. And as well, I had my first group pool at $10 a spin. We won a hand pay on it, and you know, I don't know. It's a bit like Wheel of Fortune, I guess, where you know that again was $2 a press back in the olden days, and it was the same variation, but I don't know. I just love the old real games. It is, but I guess people these days it doesn't do it for them. I get that. I do get that.
We have a little bit of a thing about buffalo, don't we, as well? Because we know everybody else seems to love buffaloes, but we don't really. I think again, we once had this run on buffalo where we just got nothing but retriggers, but actually no money. You know, you were sat there for like what felt like kind of 30-40 minutes, retrigger, but actually like $3 that you won, and I think we just kind of thought, but we know when we watch other people's vlogs and stuff, everybody absolutely loves buffalo. But I think with Wild Buffalo, we've found one buffalo that we do love. So there's that many variations, isn't there, that you can...
I think that's one of the better modern ones for sure. And again, I take my sort of buffalo battle to try and get a decent win onto the next series. And I think Wild is probably one of the ones where you got the best chance of doing it, really. But
the one thing we did win on Buffalo was the Country Music Awards. Tickets. Michael always says we won the country tickets on this machine.
That was an amazing win, really. But better mind just playing the casino, right? I mean, you have to stick but you know, it's. Anyway, quick shout out to Nigel Cross. Thank you for joining the channel membership. I appreciate that, matey. Hopefully, I'll see you in August. I know you're there. And Josh Ray videos again. Vegas Baby, which is the one. Vegas Baby, which one is the voice of reason in Vegas? Matt, would you ever have imagined you would have be so well known and a pioneer for Vegas vloggers? So who is the voice of reason, guys? Josh Ray says.
Between us two?
Yeah, I would say probably him. Yeah. Certainly, I mean, you know, and I do remind him of this, but that last day when we were last there, we only hit the big, we hit the major, don't get us wrong, that we did that on like only a 250 bet or something, didn't we? But then Michael would have just pulled the money out then and just gone, we've hit the major, you know, box tick, that's it, we've done it. And I was like, but, you know, we've only got like 20 minutes left, half an hour left. And
she does like to remind me of this quite often.
And when do we get this opportunity? And I kind of whacked it up. And occasionally I'll do like a big bet and then I'll go back down to a small bet or something just to mix it up a bit. So I would say out of the two of us, Michael's probably the voice of reason.
But reason, you know, Vegas is not a place for reason, you know, so it's Yeah, so it's I would say I'm not sure how good being a voice of reason is in Vegas.
I don't know how you feel about it, but the way I can best describe my trips to Vegas is that as soon as I get in, there was a Stephen King thing with the dome. It was a series where they all lived under a dome, and it was like, I feel when I land there, I'm in this sort of dome where nothing else outside of the dome matters. And basically, I am just, I have money to spend, hopefully not lose, but spend. And I'm just totally focused. It's almost, you're almost like extrasensory sort of way. And you just go through your, whether it's, 5, 7, 10 days, whatever. And then when you get on the plane, you go outside of the dome and you're back to reality. But in between landing and going, there is no reality.
No.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I think we felt it actually more so when we went gambling in London that time, because we don't really gamble at home. Like, it's not something that we do very regularly. But we went, and to be putting our £20 British note in, and to be, spending £1 or £2 a spin, was like, this is wrong.
This is real money. This is actual real money rather than like Vegas money.
Yeah, and I think you do go to Vegas. Like I say, I think people, we always ask, what do you think a winning trip is? And to us, a winning trip is bringing money back. It's not bringing more money back than we arrived with. It's bringing money back, because we approach it like a normal holiday. You build up your spender money, and not in a normal holiday, you would use all your spender money and come back with nothing. So we kind of go with that mentality. So anything we bring back to us is a big bonus. So the fact that we brought our whole bankroll back last time was, incredible to us. But we it completely what you say, Matt. It's like, I mean, to me, it even starts when we get to the airport. Like, it's not even when I arrive in Vegas. It's when I get to the airport, I'm suddenly in Vegas mode, and everything's much more kind of relaxed, and anything can happen, and it's like a whole mentality shift. It's I'm definitely like that, and I love it. To be honest, I wouldn't want it any other way.
But it's weird. It's almost like when I get home, I say to Suzanne, like, so what's happened news-wise? I have no concept, because I don't check the newspaper sites I would normally check. I don't even switch the TV on, because if I'm not sleeping or gambling or meeting people, I'm editing. So I don't even, literally, my TV in the room never gets switched on.
It's funny, because when we do the room tours, we obviously have a nice big television there, or like the Cosmo, there's like a TV over the settee area, and then a TV over the bed area. We've never switched the television on in Vegas ever. We're the same as you completely.
Yeah, awesome. Right, okay, next question. What is the highest you've ever done on a single spin from Sean vlog? Would you do the new 5,000 one? Is that $5,000 a spin, Sean? I wouldn't do $5,000 a spin. So what's the maximum you've done, guys?
Oh my goodness!
I think it's 10. I think it's when we won the near hand pay on the last day.
Yeah, I think it is.
Last trip,
which doesn't sound very dramatic at all, really. Exciting. But that's. I think if we were doing group polls and stuff, we might be tempted to go a little bit more, like, and like your last group poll, Matt. It was amazing, that one spin, and wow. But yeah, I suppose it's going back to the whole, we don't take a big budget. I mean, if you can imagine, anything we take, we share as well. So we don't have like a Michael budget and a Lindsay budget. It's just, we've got our daily budget.
That's because she doesn't allow me to have any money. So,
So who has the handle? Well, bearing in mind it's in the safe, but who has the combination to the safe for the try not to touchies or do not fucking touch the full stop?
Well, we both do, but Lindsay's got a knack of accidentally changing the combination of the safe without realising how. So Lindsay goes as far as actually lock us out with our own safe.
Right. Okay.
She leaves a little puzzle for me to have to try to undo it. That has literally happened. So she takes a try not to kind of a touchies thing a little bit too far.
And on our little wallets that we take, I've locked us out of them twice as well.
Just sealed those shut more than once as well. So I would say Lindsay's probably more in control of the kind of money, I would say.
Yeah, we've had to twice downtown. We've had to ask someone for a pair of scissors to cut us into our own money because I have locked the little zipper locker thing, and it's just come off, and we're stranded with nothing other than our little wallet of money, and we can't get to it. I'm like, I can pay you. It's in here. You just need to give us some scissors, to get into it. But yeah, I've done that twice now.
Well, mine. I mean, this was quite funny actually because in December we just had the Handpay Express night where me, Gaz, everybody, won 5 Handpays in one night, and it was literally from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. We couldn't stop winning, right? So the following day was my last day. And I thought, right, I'm going to take £1,000 into the high limit room at Cosmo where I was staying, and bet $10-20 a press, whatever, right? So anyway, there's 4 lightning links there. Normal ones one side, and slightly more high limit ones the other side. But I thought they were all the same, right? Anyway, I walked in there, and I didn't get this on film because I'd pretty much done with filming that trip by this point. And I got in there, and NG Slot is sat there, right? And I thought, right, Bridge of Big Bollocks is going to go and sit next to NG Slot, and let's see who gets the first spin. That's the way I looked at it, right? And so I sat down with him Budweiser, and I started hitting the button, only to realise the minimum was $100 a spin.
Oh no!
I thought, shit. Anyway, I looked at NG. I said, NG, hi, I really like your channel. You won't know me. I'm from the UK. I'm off now. Went around the other side and carried on normally. I talk about how embarrassing is that. It's like I can't sit next to MG. It's just crazy. But that was just.
Did you style it out like you only wanted to do those 2 spins? And
I probably stumbled and grabbed my bud and sort of sort of just didn't really say anything. It just walked off. But it was a pretty tragic couple of spins, really, that one. Bear in mind, he was sat next to me. He wasn't winning either, though, which is sort of makes it okay, But whatever. Okay, question from Leanna Ellis. Hi, Leanna. Vegas favourite, what is your favourite slot?
I love Huff and Puff at the moment. I think it kind of changes every trip. Every trip, I think you find a new game that you love. A Dragon Link, we always love. We've got our favourite versions of it. Khan is our favourite version. I like Autumn Moon as well on that. But, Huff and Puff, there's just something about that game. I think the bonus is slightly different to the rest, yet also, it's enough of other bonuses to not feel scary. I even love the kind of the tone of the bell on that game, and I love the wolf little face. I just love everything about that game. I'd say that one.
Yeah, I go through stages. So, I mean, like I say, Dragon Link's a constant, isn't it? That's like home Dragon Link. You always kind of think, it's like what you said before, go back to your comfort game. Dragon Link's the comfort game. But I like an Ultimate Fire Link. You're not keen. I like a Piggy Bank.
Piggy Bank is good. Yeah.
I do like that. I love Little Shop of Horrors, as you know. I just like the randomness of it and the music and the kind of colours and everything. So yeah, it does vary, but I have a real thing about Huff and Puff as well at the minute. Like we really love it. The first time we ever played it in Cosmo, it was absolutely horrendous to us. We got I think 3 straw houses and 1 wood one, and we won nothing, and we were kind of like, what? And then on the last trip we hit 300 plus, wasn't it? 300 plus wins in 3 different venues on that same game. So we were like, yeah. Well. and I actually absolutely love Wild Wild Buffalo. We were talking about this because we were saying when we go in September, what's going to be the first game we play. And obviously we're staying in Plaza, so it's either going to be Huff and Puff or Wild Wild Buffalo, we've decided.
Yeah, what about you? The first game that you like to play?
It tends to be a Link game, really, honestly. I just love it. I love the sound of it. I don't know. I know it's dull, but I think it always gives me a good chance of winning for me. I love it.
Dollar Storm's another machine that Michael has a hoodoo on.
He cannot win a thing on that.
Can't win a thing on Dollar Storm. I don't know what it is.
I'm going to break that hoodoo as well in September.
Absolutely. Opal's lad just sent a super chat. Thank you, mate. And Slot Gypsy's Travel said, what are your go-to machines when you are not winning? I mentioned mine in terms of quick hits and double top dollar. What you guys would go where?
Probably Dragon Link.
The Dragon Link and Lightning Link. Is it Lightning Link? Yeah.
Locket Link. We do like a Locket Link as well.
A link, so something link.
Yeah.
I know where I can stand with them.
But do you guys get comments about why do you keep playing Locker Link on your vlogs like I do? Like everyone does that plays it?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think
I think most people probably think, why do they keep on playing that stupid bloody Little Shop of Horrors game? But they're kind of nice enough to not actually mention it. So.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot less people see our vlogs than they do yours, Matt. So I think just with the just the sheer amount of people who are watching you, they might say that. But yeah, we don't really get comments like that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't really care because ultimately, to me, it gives you the best chance of winning.
Well,
and I'm there to try and win. And I still think it can be, to me, if I see an NG slot video that is on Lightning Link or Dragon Link, I'll click on it straight away. I love watching it and I love playing it. It's just, I don't know.
One of the newest games that I think that we really liked was the coin combo. Like that was something that we'd never played before until the last time we were there. But actually, the horse one and everything, it was just really exciting, wasn't it? And all them hits and all them coins coming, and you don't know if it's a extra spin or it's some money in the pot or whatever. There's kind of a lot of variety with that, so we really like coin combo. We'll probably be a lot more of that.
Okay, question from Curly R. Hi, Curly. Will anyone be rushing to stay at the Hard Rock if and when it's built, or giving it a miss similar to the lukewarm reactions to? I don't know whether there has been a lukewarm reaction to Resorts World, but certainly Virgin. What are your thoughts on the Mirage conversion, guys?
It's hard because we love it, and I think that I wasn't keen on the volcano being torn out, or it's about to be torn out. I think that should be probably I mean, I know that change is kind of part of like Vegas, but I think that some attractions deserve to be treated with a bit more of respect, and to get rid of it is one thing, but to get rid of it for a guitar-shaped hotel, which is going to bring nothing unique.
No, I agree.
At all. I just think that's wrong. So I'm kind of wary of their plans just based on that. But I think that the place needs a little bit of a renovation. It is looking dated in certain like areas. I think that the rooms need to be redone a little bit. I mean, they're like absolutely fine, but I think they've fallen behind what other rooms are now. I'm kind of open-minded to the fact that it's going to change. I just don't want it to change too much because I think it's really, really good place now. I think it's there's nothing much wrong with it. I think it's kind of up there with the best of them.
I think the thing that I don't dispute with the inside, it needs a change up or a renovation. I just think outside, when you stand at Venetian and you look at it, or stand outside it with the ducks and everything, which I've done so many times, and walk past it, it's just such an iconic area, and it still looks as good now as it probably did in 1989 when it opened. So it's more how I don't have a problem with the mixing up and renovating the casino space or the hotels, of course, but it's getting rid of that volcano. To me, and to be honest, if that's then gone, when do the fountains go? Is that the next? But it's space, isn't it? And it's if you can. And I know it always used to be an April the 1st joke where they say that they're going to get rid of the fountains for a shopping mall and things like that, and everyone laughs. But you can see actually now that probably will eventually happen. Yeah. I mean, it's not unreasonable to think that, really, but
you need the individual characters, don't you? And like I say, you need the breakup from just kind of build. I mean, on the opposite side to where that is, when you go along the whole kind of Harrah's Link. I mean, fair enough, you've got the Link Promenade, which kind of breaks it up, but it's only a little entrance there. But when you go along that, it is just building, and then your path and then the road. That's it. Whereas on the other side, with the fountains and with obviously Caesars and the fountains in front of Caesars, and then with that bit in front of Mirage as well, there's more character to it. There's just kind of, you can breathe a bit more like there. It's less, and so I think to have that all of a sudden just then be another big building, I don't know. I think it might lose something. In terms of the lukewarm reception to Virgin, I have to say we have remotely no interest whatsoever in going to see Virgin. It doesn't appeal. We might get there one day, but it's certainly not high on our list. And Resorts World, we enjoyed it when we went. We liked the look of it inside. Certainly the casino, we liked the look of it. We literally were only there 45 minutes, maybe that was it, just to get our identity card and play a little slot, and that was it. But it's interestingly, when we go to plan our next trips, Resorts World just never crops up, does it? It never crops up as somewhere where we might end up going, but it's never top of the list. It's never anywhere near the top of the list. So I kind of get what they're saying there with lukewarm.
No, I'm with you. I totally get that. Okay, question from MJCLFC. What is Matt and Vegas bait? I've got it the wrong way around. What was the biggest disappointment in Vegas? I show restaurant casino for you all. Ours was Mayfair Supper Club due to where we got seated. Now, I'm not sure who MJCLFC is, but I did see someone who got seated in a really bad place. It's probably you guys on social media. So what is your most biggest disappointment in Vegas?
I struggle with this because I generally tend to see the positive in everything. So I always like things. It's not very expensive. It's not big, but I actually didn't like Nacho Daddy. Everybody raves about Nacho Daddy and how they have the best nachos. And we went, and maybe I just picked the wrong one. I got the fajita nachos, but it was so... I just was nothing to me. There was no flavor. It was just a pile of stuff and it was huge. Like it just, even the size of it was just made it really unappetizing because you kind of go, how the hell am I going to get through this? And there was no flavor, no taste. And I just kind of, you loved yours.
I did love mine.
So it might have just been the one I picked, but it's made me never want to, like I've never then said, let's go back to Nacho Daddy. Because I've always, when you have a bad experience. So, but I honestly can't think of anything else.
For me, I can't get my head... I can't get excited, I would say, about the Cirque du Soleil shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're a nice spectacle and what the people can do is amazing, but it just doesn't really click with me, So I would say that those, for the kind of price that you pay, I don't really think that they've ever really left me feeling... like I've got my kind of a money's worth out of them,
I'm terrible. I fall asleep in the Cirque du Soleil shows. I don't know if I think it's more the the music they play and the ambience and it's kind of like dreamlike everything.
It's an expensive nap though.
Oh, it is. We went to the Bellagio, and because it's all drip, 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 like you're underwater. I spent most of it asleep, and then I kept waking myself up and watching a few minutes of it, and then I couldn't help. I was going off. It might have been something to do with the fact we went to Le Cirque first, had a huge meal, and had a different wine with every course. So that might have played a part in it. But
Yeah, so I went through a stage, or Suzanne and I went through a stage of going to a lot of Cirque shows, and we went to the one at TI. I can never remember the name of it, but that was epic. It really was great. And then we went. Funny enough, is it at Bellagio, the one with all the water? I think we'd seen so many by that point. It was like, okay, well, this is just another one. And then you go to MJ1, and that's less Cirque, more MJ, and it all just sort of gets diluted. And I think we'd sort of done Cirque shows at that point. But in terms of restaurant, the worst one we had, I never mentioned it in the vlog, but Suzanne and I went to Diablo's in Luxor, the Mexican thing. That honestly was inedible. Literally we had burritos and everything, and I think the burrito was like, well, not foot long, but quite big. And it was just awful. We couldn't believe that was that. You walk in there and you see the sign. And it was absolutely dreadful. I'd be interested in the chat if anyone's gone there and liked it. We just thought it tasted like cardboard, really. There was literally no taste to it. I guess my other biggest disappointment was probably getting married in Vegas, but that's another story. Anyway. It's nice. Opal's dad again. Sorry, I missed your thing last time. Let me say thanks for everything you do. Appreciate everything you have helped me through some tough times. So thanks. I tell you what, and I know these guys will agree with me, right? If you get messages from people that say they've gone through X, Y, and Z in their personal life, and they get 20, 30, 40 minutes of sort of relief from that, And I don't know what you guys. I just that is why YouTube is such a fantastic thing.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely.
We just love it when people kind of get our humor as well, like, because I think sometimes because you can only be yourself on camera. You can't be anyone else. You can't try, and certainly not when you've got the camera with you all day, and there's certainly with a couple, we're just chatting to each other most of the time on camera. So you do think a lot of the times, are people going to even get what we're saying or whatever else? But then when people join in with it, you kind of think, oh, that makes you feel a bit better that, people are just as silly as you, or they get you or whatever else. And but yeah, it does. I mean, the comments are lovely, like, and they do. I mean, we would love Vegas whether or not we were vlogging or anyway, but it just adds to it, doesn't it? When you get, you get people saying, oh, we love this, or we're now going to go there because you showed this, or, you've helped us so much. Like, we have a lot of beginners who contact us, probably because they can tell we're almost beginners ourselves, really, in the way we present, maybe. But they say, oh, like, we didn't have a clue where to start, so we've just followed where you went. Like, we've gone to the restaurants you went to, and we've played the machines you did, and that's helped us loads. And that's really nice to us as well, because we know how overwhelming it can be when you first go. So, yeah, it's all really nice.
I think it's lovely when you can help someone with whatever you do, and it's been a very tough year or two for us all. So, if any of us can help anyone through it, because we've all needed help from someone over these last 2 years. Well, I think it's an amazing thing when people kind of reach out and say, you helped us out there, and it really is good.
I always remember someone saying, it was just after the board had opened and we were staying in Cosmo, so we were one of the first to go back. It just worked out where we booked the holiday, and it just happened to open up. And I always remember the first, like, I vlogged when we first went at the Cosmo room, and we just did like a quick room tour because we were too excited to be there. But we walked out onto the balcony, and I remember one of the comments saying that somebody who was watching just burst into tears when we walked out onto the balcony. Just they were suddenly like, oh my, like, I think they felt almost relief, or the joy, or the excitement that all of a sudden this thing that had been taken away from us for so long was now open and available to us. And they'll message saying like they cried when they watched it. And I thought, oh, wow, it's so powerful,
Oh no, it totally is, and I think for me and my sort of history with Vegas, I think one of the reasons I really like the Trooper. I don't know if you guys have ever watched him or like him, but he does his sort of pieces to camera where he sort of rants, but he talks about real life stuff, and he's spoken to me. The fact that he basically gave up his life where he was living, took all of his money, went to Vegas for his dream. He's made it work. He gets a lot of hate, but the guy is, for me, probably the Vegas vlogger for me, always will be, because he was the first. And he spoke to me when I was in my job I hated, and it was. And I'm not saying I did what he did, but he spoke to me and made me feel better, and I therefore sort of did something a bit different because of watching it. Do you know? Does that make sense? And so I will. I've never met the guy, and I would never seek out to meet him because I don't know. I just think sometimes it's better just left. But he has been. Yeah, of all the YouTubers, he has been the one that has spoke to me the most for that reason. And he'll never know that and everything else, but it's true. And the guy is great with the way he comes across in that way, and that's that. I think that's the power of YouTube, and I think that is why so many more people watch it than traditional telly, because it is individuals that you sort of know talking to you directly about normal life. It's not overproduced. It's not, it is what it is. I think it's powerful, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, we enjoy watching other people's for that same reason, as well as kind of doing our own. We enjoy watching other people's.
Yeah, I would say that YouTube provides this opportunity to connect with people rather than to watch a show. I think that's the big difference.
Absolutely. So John again, this is an interesting one actually, in terms of he gets a few comments about upping the bets and playing high into noms and etc. And he ignores it, and he has a comfortable betting level, and he will continue to do so. But sometimes, do you not think that you have to push it a little, or would you be happy with, say not the last trip? I mean, you did well. Would you mid-trip ever think, fuck it, I'm going high limit for the next 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, yes. I mean, I think
win or lose.
I think it's one of those where it's all about the expectation, and I think that obviously we can't go to Vegas and expect to win. That's just going to make everybody miserable, So, but I think that if the higher you bet, the more expectation that you can have that when you do win, you win well, you win big, and we're all kind of chasing that kind of thrill, like, aren't we, of those a kind of big wins. So, I mean, we've had times when we bet small, mainly just to pass a bit of time, really. If we want to kind of spread it out a little bit, we'll kind of bet small. I think that betting small is fine if you also don't have that expectation that, I should be winning big here,
Yeah.
So I think that it's absolutely fine. A bet level's fine, but you've got to have the expectation level to kind of match it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%. Claire says she got so emotional when I returned after COVID. I was actually stood in Circa. How did you guys feel that first trip? Because actually, I actually got quite a bit of negativity about that, and I sort of walked into that room. And just emotion took over, right? And I was looking at the thing, and I just thought, right, you've got to film this, whether you put it on the vlog or not. You've got to film it. And in the end, I thought, oh fuck it, I'll put it in. And some people just sort of laughed at it, but that was the reality. That really was it, and probably not just of getting back to Vegas. To be fair, it was the reality of, in my eyes at the time, coming out of the pandemic sort of restrictions. How did you guys feel when you first got back?
I think that trip nearly killed us, to be honest. I think because we'd had so many months of being in the house and not being able to go anywhere or do anything, or think about what we wanted to do when we got back to Vegas, or just plan it in our head, that we made the most of every single minute. And I think I barely slept more than 2 hours a night that whole trip. Like, I think my mind, everything was just in complete overtime. I wanted to make every minute count because I didn't know whether it was going to all shut again. It was kind of like, do we just have to make the most of this because it could all happen again? I think there was that feeling of coming out of COVID of, everything felt uncertain in the future. You didn't quite know, like, well, we could go back into lockdown again soon. This might all happen again. And all of a sudden, everything was possible. And we just kind of said, right, we are here for 12 nights. We are going to do everything we can. And honestly, I was knackered. Like, I was, when we got back from that trip, it took me about 4 weeks to even get into any normal sleeping pattern. I was exhausted. But I think a lot of that was just because we kind of said, we've got to make every minute count. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's around the corner. And you've got to do that. So that was one thing. The other thing was, we love the fact that you put that in your vlog, Matt, because you could tell it was just so genuine. Like, you were meant to be there for the Circa opening, you'd got the invite, you were going to be there. And we'd watched your vlogs for kind of years building up, and doing the kind of updates of, you go around the back and saying this is getting built and that's getting built and it's going to have this, and talking about it, that I think actually being there eventually just kind of, it hit you, didn't it? And it came across in the vlog that it just all of a sudden, like, all them kind of months and years of all of that going on, you were there. And we kind of joked, and I said, I feel like I'm going to have a moment like this, but I don't know when it's going to hit me. I said, I'm going to have a breacher moment at some point, but I just have no idea when it's going to hit. And I think I was just on so much of a kind of adrenaline rush of, we've got to do this and we've got to go there and we've got to do this, that it didn't hit me. And then, the night we went to see Bryan Adams at Wynn, and there was the whole incident with the lady who fell down the stairs, and she was clinging onto the thing. If you haven't watched it, you have to watch it. But this woman was clinging onto the barrier for over an hour and a half. And Bryan Adams had to come down and see her, and it was chaos. But there was one song, and I like Bryan Adams. I've seen him a few times, but I don't particularly feel, there's nothing emotional between me and Bryan Adams. There's no like special song or anything he sings. I just like him. But he sang one song, and it was All for One and One for All, which sounds silly, the Musketeer movie. But he sang it a cappella, and something, I don't know what it was. I was in that theater, and I don't know, it was just the voice and everybody singing along. And that was my moment. And literally, I had the video out, didn't I? And I was videoing some of it. And before I knew it, I was sobbing my heart out. And it wasn't even like a natural thing where I felt a few tears. It was kind of like rip-roaring sobs. Sobs that just came out of me. And I just turned to Michael, and he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't know." It just suddenly hit me, like I was back in the theater again. I was back watching live music again. there was all these people together again. You know, obviously the music and everything was, and it just hit me, didn't it? And I just had like one moment of just sobbing my heart out, and then I was fine for that. So it's weird because that did hit me, didn't it? Yeah.
No, I think well, it was. Well, I think that's when you realise it's more than just a holiday. It's part of you. I know that sounds really OTT, but it's true. To me, it's my soul that I missed out on, and add everything else. So it's a whole load of like proper stuff that went on during that time. You know, not seeing my family 2 Christmases, etc. Anyway, we won't go down there, but you know what I'm saying. It's almost coming out of that and finally looking out of that property. I was basically a wreck for 4 hours. I mean, it was terrible. Anyway, Flaming Mo, 449 super chat. Thank you so much. What top 3 slots would you bring back that aren't around anymore? Also, as Richard said, if there is any movement on the Louis Theroux dot. Well, the second question first. I don't think there is. He did something in Vegas actually. If you watch his most recent series, and it didn't include Circa, so I would think probably not. And he's done his sort of update on Alan and everything. So sadly not. What top 3 slots would you bring back that aren't around anymore? You guys got any tips or?
I don't think so. I don't think we've been going really. Obviously, I haven't been going anywhere near as long as you. So there's not really any that were missed, are there?
No. Just going back to the Louis Theroux thing for a minute, though. Louis Theroux, sorry. I love the bit when he in the lift where all he asks people is, "Are you winning?" Yeah. And I keep saying, Michael, I want to do a whole vlog series just on that. I want to go into one property and say, can I spend an hour just in your lifts? And just saying to people with the camera, are you winning? And just see
if you did that with a quick edit, that would be so cool.
I know, that's just what I want to do.
Do it. That would be so fucking cool, honestly.
I just think the reactions of people are so genuine, they're so instant, they're so spontaneous that they wouldn't have time to kind of plan anything. It would just be like, and I would love to do it.
And you could do it almost each day. You could almost do it either going back or coming up.
Yeah.
Over the course of, I mean, honestly, great idea. I love it.
So simple. Are you winning? That's what it is. It's just so simple.
Yeah, no, I like that idea. I won't. Anyway,
shouldn't we?
In terms of the top 3 slots, I would say mine would be, off the top of my head, Sphinx 3D. Did you guys ever play that?
No, we saw it on your vlog though. Did we?
Yeah. I love that game, and I know Steve Garrell loves that game. And there was one in Circus Circus. I was going to try and go there to play it, and I never got there. But the second one would be Red Hot Fusion, which of course I always used to play. It's now dead and done. Well, that's probably the only 2 actually. I can't think of a third. I think everything's around that should be still, but those would be the main 2 for sure. Okay. Anything else? I've got to do my draw for my channel members in a minute before we go. But okay, 127. We need to finish up. Okay, any other questions you've seen, guys?
Somebody saying, do you think you will cope with the heat when you were there, Matt?
Oh, do I think I would cope with the heat? What, in August? Yeah, I mean, to me, August is why I sort of fell in love with Vegas, really. I've always gone in August, and me and Suzanne have always gone in August, and we've not gone in August since 2019, and this will be the first time. Okay, she came in January, and that was because her new company closed down for 2 weeks. So it was like, where are we going to go? And she said, well, let's go to Vegas. So I made sure that we had lots of road trips, and because I know she just wants the pool and the sun and whatever. But this is the first time that we will properly be back how she likes it since 2019 August. So yeah, she loves it, and I can keep.
I'm actually going to ask Matt something of my own, actually.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Obviously, we saw you playing Brian Christopher slots.
Yes.
If someone was going to make a Bridger slots game, what would the symbols be and what would the feature be?
Oh my god! Well, there would have to be balls, but some form of ball. And of course, if you want a hand pay, you'd have to say it's a fucking hand pay.
Yeah. bleep on that, maybe.
Yes, they might have to, yeah.
I mean, the slots I would, I mean, like it's going to happen, but the slots I would want would be something on a theme of Lightning Link or Dragon Link, but something slightly different. But certainly one, because in the UK, as you know, we either have balls or we have features. We don't have one with both. And that's what I like about those games. But there would have to be, I don't know, unbelievable would be something I don't actually realise I'm saying it, but when I look at fucking hell, you keep saying that fucking word. And it's a fucking hand pay, and I don't know, going back to the safe. Maybe if you lose, you can say, I bet you're going back to the safe now. That probably wouldn't go.
A safe cam feature, that's what we need.
Vlog your safe cam feature and upload it to Anyway, Hogan2 said, how you doing, guys? Love these guys. I'd love these guys. I really do. If you want millions on a slot, do you think you would end your vlogging? You guys?
No, I would vlog more because I would be in Vegas more. In fact, I think I would vlog more than I did pretty much anything. So, it's the dream, isn't it? Yeah. No,
it is. And then I guess for my personal situation, I'm retiring next year, which means that we're more financially sort of free, and I'm not thinking of ending the vlog. I'm thinking of increasing the vlogging. So I'm not 1 million, but it's more freedom and.
Yeah, I was going to say we certainly don't do it for the money. So winning a lot of money wouldn't make any difference. We do it for the memories and looking back on the memories and that.
Well, the thing is, you can see, right? You can see, and I said this a bit in the last series, but you can see the vloggers that are doing it for a gig, as opposed to the ones that are doing it because they want to share their passion. That's the thing. You really can see it. Yeah. And I'm not even saying people that live in Vegas. I'm saying even people that fly in. You can see where they're doing it for a reason versus those that don't. And I would always say that. And when I first started, okay, I'm going to go on my soapbox now, but when I first started in 2014, right, like Colin and one other person, Carl Rose, if you're watching, was watching, right, and that was it. I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to basically film my trip to Vegas, albeit like terribly badly, and just send it to Colin because he didn't think he would ever go. And that is how it started. That is how it's always been, just a love of sharing.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's all about?
There's a huge. I think you can tell because there are two different types. I think you can tell the ones who vlog while they're in Vegas, and then there are those who are in Vegas to vlog.
Yes.
And there's a massive. You can tell it kind of comes across. I think.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not going to name any names. We all like who we like, but for me, the former group of those are the ones that I enjoy watching the kind of most. No,
I agree. Totally agree. Okay, another question from Leanna again. After visiting Henderson, are there any other places off strip you want to visit? Well, personally, I would really like to visit Boulder Highway because I did Sam's Town once, and that was probably 2015, which was my second trip, and it was terribly done. So I would quite like to maybe do the same there. You guys? Have you been off strip much?
Not really. We've done kind of a day trip to like LA before. We've done a canyon, all of those kind of little things. We've never hired a car and went out. It's something that I would quite like to do. I mean, is it Rachel, the little Space Invaders town? Is that
yes, it's Rachel.
Yeah, I would absolutely.
That trip. Anyone who's watching, and I get a lot of things about road trips to do. Go to Rachel. It is the funnest road trip you will ever have. I mean, basically, all you do is drive through random desert and end up eating an alien burger. But you will never have more fun doing it.
I'd love to go there. That's right up my street. It really is.
I think we always say, again, we haven't been going to Vegas for as long as you, Matt, but we always kind of say we don't feel like we've even scratched the surface of the strip in downtown. Like, we just don't feel like we've even scratched the surface. We come back with a list. Every time we go, we come back with a list longer than we went with of things, right? Well, next time we'll do that. Next time we'll do that. So I think, maybe when we have been going a lot longer and we've kind of ticked off more things off the list, we might look further outside, we might look elsewhere. But at the minute, we can't fit everything in at all anyway. So we're kind of not even looking outside of that, really. That's just how we feel. Someone's asked if our holidays are going to cross over next time, but I don't think they are. No. We're in September or August, aren't they?
About 100% next time we will have an epic night or two out for sure.
Definitely. Well, yeah. Vegas Introverts also asked, if we like Marmite or do we have good taste?
I hate Marmite. I've got to say, I absolutely hate this stuff. It's like tar in your mouth.
Well, I see. I don't mind it, but it has to be in small amounts. So, like, I'll put it on some toast. But I'm used to go to football matches since I was 10-year-old, so I can drink Bovril and things like that. You know what I mean? It's just what happens when you're old and you're at a football match. It's kind of. And I love Marmite crisps actually.
Yeah, I don't mind the kind of flavor. It's the texture that I can't stand.
I eat the extra strong version, XXL or something.
Wow.
It's almost like sucking out a hard mint, but with Marmite taste. Anyway, I was going to. Oh, here we go. This is the question I was going to do. I find UK extended scene so boring and sorrowless and don't attend anymore. What are all your thoughts? Right, this is. See, I have grown. Now, this is the one thing about the pandemic that I would say my opinion has changed. I've had some of the best nights I've had out in this country. In Empire and Rialto with Ben, Steve, Gaz, whoever, Suzanne, whatever. What do you think? I know you don't go that often.
Yeah, no. I mean, we obviously live a long way away from the kind of London ones, so are
they not in Sunderland or nearby?
Very small ones.
There's a small Grosvenor in Sunderland, and in Newcastle there is there's Aspers and Grosvenor and stuff. We kind of differed on this, I think, over COVID because when they opened up again, I kind of just wanted something. I wanted a bit, like even just a bit of Vegas. I just wanted it in my life. And I said to Michael, come in, I just really want to just go for a night or whatever else. And this was kind of where he's the same, like he's either in the Vegas mood or the zone or he's not. And I think he said, well, I just don't want to sit like in Newcastle and just throw 100, 200 quid away, he just couldn't. And I was just like, I just wanted a bit of Vegas. We were kind of different a little bit on it. We ended up not going, which was fine. And I just think it's the same with I just don't have the same feelings in the UK. Yeah. I just don't have. I mean, they're much smaller, so I think in Sunderland there's like 6 slot machines. It's just weird. It just doesn't feel right to me. I think we just associate kind of game Vegas with gambling.
Yeah.
That's in our head. That's what we do.
So if there wasn't gambling in Vegas, do you think you would go back?
Probably. I mean, we I think it was the 3rd trip before we even placed a bet there. So we love the atmosphere and the sights.
You didn't go back because you were a gambler. You went because you wanted to see Vegas originally, right?
Because we just fell in love with like Vegas, the whole kind of atmosphere, the sights. I think just the sheer kind of scale of it. We kind of first went and we stayed at the Aria first time, and we came onto the strip where you go past like MGM Grand and turn right at New York. Yeah. And I think that sight of New York, from that second, I was just hooked on the kind of place.
Same as me.
It was just, it was just not like anything that I'd ever seen. It gave me a feeling that I'd never had before. You kind of stand around the place and you feel awed by it all, and it's a feeling that's very difficult to find anywhere else. So I think that if we didn't bet and stuff, I think we would.
Oh, we'd still go back.
We'd go back, once a year at least. At least.
And do you think your gambling is not increased, but you've got more into it than you did the first time?
Absolutely,
I think the first time it was fear. It's like it's like it's big, flashy, open space with, and you don't really know what to do. And it was just really watching vlogs, watching your vlogs, Matt, which kind of, it gives you the kind of, it almost teaches you how to actually play slots and not be kind of frightened of them anymore.
Yeah.
And then eventually we went and we thought, oh, we've seen other people do it. We kind of know what we're going to do now. So we'll have a little go. And every time we go back, we enjoy it more just because we kind of learn more about it and we feel more comfortable and more confident,
I think that first time we gambled, though, we probably just stuck to the machines that we'd seen you play.
Yeah,
it was like
they
were the only machines we kind of thought, well, we've seen Matt play these, so that we know what to expect from them, and then you build up your courage a bit and you go, you know what? And then eventually you sit down at a machine and go, I've never seen this played, I don't care. And I'm just going to give it a go and see what happens. And all the fear goes. But I think, that's why we kind of, we understand people when they say, where do we start? And,
having looking at your website, that's obviously launching at the end of the next month, right? You have a bit about first time gambling in it, right? And I read that this afternoon, and I think maybe because I've transitioned from 3-reel to computerized screens almost without realizing. You mentioned all the variances and what you need to check, and I think I'd probably forgotten that, and for someone who literally lands and it's like, right, you got $100 in your hand and you're looking around this fucking casino and you're thinking, what the fuck do I do? Yeah. And I think it was Lindsay that wrote the article. It was a very good way of breaking it down. And it really, because there's so many variables, which actually, because I've been doing it so often, it's almost just, it's all instantaneous. Yeah. You don't really do it. But for someone that's just landing, it's incredibly complicated, really.
Yeah.
Because Vegas is somewhere, it's like no other place. You almost need to study it. And, and if you, to really get the most out of it, you almost need to, research, you need to know where to go. There's just that, you can't get everything in. It's like people say to us, you can do Vegas in a weekend, or, and we're like, what? Like,
yeah, I don't get that school of thought, honestly. No.
And people also say, once you've been once, that's it. And again, that it's a bit Marmite, I suppose, going back to Marmite. Yeah. Some people love it, some people hate it. But I think if you get it and it gets in your heart and it gets into you, that's it. You can't get away from it, and you can never get rid of it.
I think Vegas either speaks to you or it isn't going to speak to you. And once Vegas speaks to you, that's it. You're kind of hooked.
Couldn't agree more. Lydia Wilson, thank you for the $20 super chat. Lydia's in my group. I had a wonderful time on my last trip meeting Mark and Jem from our group. I know you did. I've followed your posts all the time. Matt, any thoughts on just doing a meet and greet with you and Matt's mates? Well, yes, of course. Yeah, I'd always do that. If there's enough people in there or there at the time I'm there, I guess. But there's people come and go. That's the thing. I don't know about you guys, but my Facebook is like literally arriving, leaving, big win, arriving, leaving, big win. And then the big wins, I think, what the fuck can't I win that? It's not a bit.
No, it is. It is like a revolving door, isn't it? Like you just everybody's going and coming, and I, we wish we could go back more often, but when you kind of got 4 kids and work full time and you're around the holidays and it's not a direct flight, you've got to kind of get another, you've got to really plan them in. It's like a military operation just to get a Vegas trip booked in, really.
You do reach that point where someone that is always in Vegas, always, like all year round.
Yeah.
No, it's true, and it is. It's amazing how, for me, going when I first started going, I've always said this, but it was the trip of a lifetime. How they used to say it in the brochures, and it was really. You went there thinking, I'm ticking it off, and then that's it. But now, in the last 25 years, how it's basically, in effect, for Brits, it's like going to Spain in a way. I mean, in a way, do you know what I mean? It's for people that.
Michael always says that actually, if we now that when you start getting the comps through, when you start getting your hotels, when you start getting free play, when you start getting resort credit, and now you start getting resort fees waived, which has just kind of started happening for us. it's cheaper for us to go to Vegas than it would be. I mean, we're going to Florida in October, and I mean, you know, you could take a mortgage out for the amount we're paying for that. You know, we could have 5, 6 Vegas trips for what we're paying for 4 of us to go to Florida. You know, it's just, so once you factor all that in, it is actually cheaper to go to keep, and the more you go, it gets cheaper every time you go. And people don't see that. They kind of think, oh yeah, right, whatever, you know. But certainly, if you also bring your spending money back, I mean, you're talking about the whole holiday. You know, you bring your spending money back. You've got all of your hotels and everything free. You're only really paying for your flights at the end of the day. Sometimes it's kind of crazy.
I probably should have, clarified that by saying when you're in the reward comp cycle, and you have to be there. Well, at least once, probably twice before you start getting that. But once you get into that cycle, and you look at the offers and you think, well, hang on a minute, you know, I mean, this trip, for example, I mean, Suzanne loves it because she doesn't really gamble, but I say, right, you know, we're going to Vegas for 2 weeks. We're staying at Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, Mandalay Bay, nice rooms, blah, blah, blah. And she says, well, what do I need to take? And it's basically flight and whatever you want to gamble, pretty much. Okay, a bit for food, but nothing too drastic. And it's like, well, and she says, well, I'd like to go somewhere else. Well, yeah, fine. But for a summer holiday where you get the sun, you get the pools, you get everything else, what more can you do? And she says, well, no, nothing. And so, yeah, she's not as into Vegas as me, but she has never fought against it, of course, because it's amazing, really.
We're not a kind of sit around a pool all day people anyway, you know. So if we were going to, you know, before kind of discovering Vegas, I suppose, or going, you know, a pool holiday I would just read. Basically, I'd just take some books and just read, which is nice. It's relaxing, but I just get bored doing that over and over again, you know. Whereas to me, Vegas offers me everything I want, whether I want a quiet day or I want a busy day or I want the kind of craziness or the partying, or it gives me everything you don't want for anything there.
Oh no, completely. And Suzanne again, she likes the pools for the day, but the evening she likes the drink. She does like the gambling, whether she admits it or not. She does. She likes the show. She likes. We're going to eat properly this time, for example. You know, so it's going to be. It's going to
be drink service as well. I think I know.
Well, thanks to you. I think it was you or Todd and Lisa. It was one of the two of you. Anyway, she likes it. Yeah.
I think she learned that you could get Malibu and Coke or something from me, and then she probably.
The number of drinks I know that you've said and Lisa have said. Yeah, she does watch, and she did watch all of your series from March, so which is unusual, and she doesn't do it to many, so you should be honoured, really. She doesn't even watch. Yes.
Our kids are the same; they won't watch our vlogs at all.
Okay, so we're coming to the end now. We're now at what is it? One. Okay, fine. Last couple of questions. How far in advance are you booking flights to get the best prices? You guys, how were your flights? How quick? Not better money going in September. When did you book them? And was it before it went up, or was it reasonable?
We are taking a risk this time.
We are taking a risk this time because we're flying from Dublin like this time. So rather than because we have to get a flight to get to Heathrow anyway.
Yeah.
So we thought we might as well get a flight to get us to Dublin, and then we've got, I think, a connecting flight through Fort Worth to get to Vegas from there, and it's worked out a lot cheaper, I would say.
Like we're talking about half price. We're not talking about a few $100s or a few £100. Sorry, if it was a few £100, I'd always just say, you know what, for the comfort's sake and whatever else. But when we looked at the flights, they were absolutely ridiculous. Even just the transfer flight from Newcastle to Heathrow was hundreds and hundreds of pounds each. And it was just like, it just got to the point it was ridiculous. So we said, you know what, let's take a risk. And I mean, I love Dublin. Like Dublin's behind Vegas, Dublin's probably the place I feel most comfortable. So to squeeze in a night in Dublin just before we head off is like heaven.
But to answer how far in advance, I think it was pretty much as soon as we got back from our last trip. So it would have been kind of April time, I think, that we kind of booked it for September. So you're talking, what, 6 months in advance?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that answers the question. Okay, I need to do my group call before we close up. So basically, I have 72 people in here who have been very kind to support me on Patreon and channel membership. We're going to do 9 people plus me, so it's 10 people. I'm going to put the $900 in, so we're going to do $1,000 at $10 a spin, 10 spins each, and whatever we win is going to be split. As always, this is the third one we've done, and actually we've not won yet, so third time lucky, right? Maybe. Anyway, okay, here we go. So 9 people.
I feel like you should do a drum roll or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ours is the first one. And I think he was in it last time, if I remember rightly. Second person. Karen Cassin. Third person. Martin Elliott, who I know is getting married in Vegas in November, I've heard. Martin.
Nice.
That's 3. Matt Trevors. Well, dropped it. Matt Trevors. I can't remember if it was you or your wife that won last time, but I know this is probably the second time. Awesome. Kimberly, of course. Brandy Ensweiler. How you doing, Brandy? That's 5. Martin Mundy Jones. How you doing, Martin? Martin and Holly. That's 6. We've got 3 more. Lydia Wilson. Love you, Lydia.
Is Lydia the one that's been having all the big wins on your Facebook page?
She is, and yeah, she was there, and she met Mark Cullum, sorry. So she's been there and doing very well on Timberwolf Gold.
Yeah,
now, I've never had Timberwolf Gold. Have you played it?
No, it's a bit too similar to.
But she won I think it was a half or just under, and then another 900 or 700. Well, it was a lot. So 8. Jeff Temple. Well done, Jeff. And the final person, Malcolm McDonald. Well done, Malcolm. Okay, so that's for 9 people. So basically, Suzanne will be the counter and the dolly dealer for this, and we will be it'll be something with balls, because I think at $10 a spin, balls gives you the best chance of winning, right? I think all 3 of us agree on that, okay? So thank you to all those, and thanks to everybody, all 72 of you, for supporting me. And we've got a nice little group in the Facebook group, haven't we? So it's all fun. It's all fun. Okay, so any final things you want to say, guys? Because we're now coming up to 2 hours, which is way more than it should be. So anything you're particularly looking forward to with your trip? Anything you've got planned that's a bit different? Anything vlog-wise that you want to share? Anything website-wise you want to share?
I think with the website, it's something that we've been working on. We're working in partnership with Matt as well. Matt's getting involved, which is brilliant for us. We want to make it good enough before it's even out there. So I suppose just watch the space on it is what we would say. We are working together to put a lot of content together. It's basically what we do. It's not specifically we're doing it for this. It's what we do anyway, kind of in our normal lives. So we're turning our passion into that. So yeah, we've got that coming up. We've not really actually spoke that much about the trip coming up.
We haven't.
I think because it's been so far in advance, and we've had all sorts of spin and plates and everything going on outside of that. Every so often we've just kind of reminded the other one. It's 100 days. It's 90 days, it's 80 days, and that's as far as we've really got. We are staying back in the plaza. We're looking forward to being down there. Definitely want to kind of just explore downtown more and get familiar so that them casinos don't all run into each other and whatever else, So yeah, but I think other than that, we've not really planned anything.
I think it's obviously going to be, we were there in November, we're there in March. It almost feels like this is a bonus week almost,
Yeah.
Because obviously then we come back and then we're home for 2 weeks and we're off to a Disney for like a fortnight. Yeah. So
that's what I like about this trip is because, and it was a direct result of your last trip. I think you said it on the vlog or maybe on the wrap up. It was like, because we've won, we basically can book again. And it was like, woo! This is like the grail of Vegas trips, right? It's like, we were going home and we don't know when we're going to be back, and now we have the option of being back.
Exactly.
We genuinely didn't thought we'd be back until next year, because we thought, right, we've got Florida and that's it, and that's our big trip for the end of the year. So and it was only, and even when we were leaving with half of our money, we were still like, no, we'll put this into Disney. But that last morning, that last hour in Bellagio changed everything, and we were like, we can come back now.
I think that Lindsay does plan on vlogging Florida as well. I think that's what she plans on doing. I might be less involved in that one, but she might have the kind of like kids with her instead. So she'll be basically swapping me on the kind of vlogs for very kind of angry teenagers, which is roughly the same deal, really. It's kind of a direct swap, I would say. The actual result isn't going to be that different, I would say. But yeah, that's about it, really.
I like Kev's comment there. Vegas will be new merch with most huggable male. You should. That's only for you though. Just most huggable male across there.
Listen, Kev, if you build, if you make it, I will wear it. I can't say fairer than that.
And you will hug it.
Yeah. And just to be clear, that's just that thing, not just like a kind of a free, you make anything and I'll wear it kind of offer. Because I've seen that kind of stuff like you make your friends. So no.
I love it. Anyway, thank you guys. We're now coming up to 2 hours. That's way too much. So I really appreciate your time for a start. And if you're up for it, I'd love to do another one of these, maybe after my August and your September trip. Obviously, once you come back from Florida, but maybe we can do it towards the end of the year and we can summarise our trips. And I really hope we can synchronize our trips going forward. And I really value you guys' friendship. I really do. And in the rocky world of YouTube, it's great to meet people that you just get on with in general. And I love it, honestly. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on.
No, we really appreciate you inviting us on as well. And all the comments. There's so many that we haven't even got to.
I'm really sorry. As I said, one thing I will do, and I'm sure these guys will, I will watch this back tomorrow. I will look back all of them, all of the comments and any questions. You can message me on Facebook or whatever, but I really appreciate it. And I love these sort of chats. It's what Vegas is all about and what the community is all about. And I thank you for it. So anyway, until next time, guys, and everyone that's watching.
Cheers.
See you soon.
Bye.